Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Rebecca, Vegan Pixie Warrior. Just making sure everyone can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Everyone hear me? Let me know. Definitely hear Gawain's cup. Let me know if you can hear me, guys, in the chat. Can anyone hear me? Brilliant. Thank you, Michael. So I'm going to do hellos for who's in the chat first of all, so I can see we've got Muddy Paws. Hi, Muddy Paws. Hope you're okay. Michael Hawkins, Joesaurus Rex, is that right? Dan Williams, I'm Easy Vegan. Yeah, the new camera is great, isn't it? I'm Easy. Vegan Jerry, hello, Vegan Jerry. Satan Inside, hello, and welcome. So this is Gawain. We've been friends for about a year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
We met at the Animal Rights March in Bristol, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you anyway? We should start off with that, really.
Yeah, I'm good. I've just made it in time, so I just got here exactly past. So yeah, I'm a bit rushed.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Worth the wait, Gawain. Worth the wait. Hi. Oh, we've got Richard Marshall as well. I met Richard Marshall at the Animal Rights March in London last year as well. So, we've got hello there.
My sister, Joesaurus Rex.
Oh, is it? Okay. I knew I pronounced it wrong. So I'm glad everyone can hear me. That's good. So to start off, just to give a little bit of your background before you were vegan, if you can, Gawain, for the listeners.
Okay. Well, I don't know what you want me to say. Just like who I was before, or
yeah, what sort of things you got up to before? You're an ex-hunter, right?
yeah. Oh, right. I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I used to do a lot of stuff. I had a companion dog, and we used to go out and we used to catch deer. Well, he would catch deer, and he would drag them down. Sometimes it'd be several fields away, and then I would go and catch up with them, and he'd hold the deer there until I came along, and I murdered the deer. And then I used to carry the deer home, and I used to butcher them up and then eat them, their bodies, various stuff like that, skin rabbits and eating rabbits and lots of stuff like that. But yeah, that used to be very much who I was. I very much felt like, it was of being a human and being, that's what we did, and it was in our genes to do that. And every time I did that, there was this massive pain in my belly, and I used to kid myself, and I used to tell myself that was respect for the animal, that I was feeling this pain and I had to feel that. And I just used to trick myself. Actually, what was happening was every part of me was screaming out, "This is wrong. Why are you doing this?" And I was looking the animals in the eye, and I used to slit their throats. So I used to wrath it, but over and done with it. But I used to stab the knife into their throat and rip their throat out. That was the first time I tried to kill a deer without a knife. I tried to break their neck. Even more horrendous.
Pat, I shouldn't swear.
So yeah, I've done absolutely horrific things to animals. I used to see them as objects for us to use. And once ate a whole family of baby shrews alive because I don't know what we thought. So we swallowed these baby shrews, and all these really, really horrible, awful things. Think of it, actually.
And you say you saw them as objects, but you did say while you were describing that you did feel sick to your stomach when you were doing it.
Yeah, that's true. And I used to think that's because I respected the animals. Now I know, obviously, that's very much not what it was. Part of me was telling me it was wrong. And in fact, actually, when I was a teenager, because I used to go around batting wasps and wasps, and I just had this realization when I was a teenager. I didn't apply this to all animals. I was like, hang on, I can't just kill a bug or an animal unless I'm going to eat them. So I had a rule that I wouldn't kill anyone unless I was going to eat them. A bit sick, right? But so I wouldn't even kill a fly from a teenager. And that came about. That came about when me and a friend decided to put salt on a slug, and this poor creature sort of frothed up, and it was really horrible. And when I was walking home, in my head, I could hear the screams of the slug. I didn't scream at the time, but logically, I could just hear this slug screaming, and that was the last time I was like, I can't, unless I'm going to eat someone, I'm not going to do it. And so it's a massive contrast from killing deer and their throats to like leaving that, like shouting at people if they were trying to kill flies, and just let them out the window. No.
I'm just going to let everyone know, I forgot to say at the beginning, if you are watching this on replay, I'm going to timestamp it so you'll be able to look through. And if you can leave any questions to the end, guys, and I'll happily open the floor up once we've finished so you can ask your questions. I should have said that before. This is only my third live stream and I'm still getting used to it. So what was the turning point then? When did you go vegan and why?
Okay, well, now I look back on it, there's been loads of veganising moments, some missed opportunities where I became welfareist. But the defining one, it was actually the mother of my boy, her brother. We were traipsing around London looking for a vegan place to eat, and found, so we were walking through. Anyway, I was there and I was eating a really delicious vegan burger. And I was like, "Why are you vegan?" And he just said to me, "Well, if I don't want to harm others if I don't need to. I don't want to harm others just so I can eat." And I was like, "Wow, that's really mental. I've never really thought of that." Even though we had vegans and some of them were actually plant-based, I didn't know the difference whilst we were growing up. But we had lots around us. But I also thought that we needed animal products to be healthy. And there was stuff like, I remember one of these plant-based families, one of the kids breaking their leg on a trampoline. And it was just like, oh yeah, of course, because they're vegans, so they haven't got calcium in their bones, so obviously they're going to break their leg. And obviously that's not true. But like those sorts of things, as you're sort of going through life, you hear these things, and then you take them on as fact. So that was it. But when I first sort of went vegan, I was actually sort of going plant-based really for a year, but I didn't buy any animal products. I didn't buy leather or anything like that. I was like, I'm going to become vegan for a year, and it was shortly after this conversation until I can. Sounds laughable. Until I can mainly source my animal products, because I thought that I couldn't be healthy and on physical being a vegan, but after about 11 months I hadn't done anything. I was feeling okay. I didn't feel like I was unhealthy. In fact, I put on weight because I was eating loads more junk food to prove that I wasn't missing out on anything. And then it was about 11 months in, I was like, well, I haven't found any of the two main products, animal products, and I haven't set up a backyard sort of farm like in my imagination and any of this. So I started looking into it more, and I came across Joey Cardstrong talking about it, and then that led me on to Herbivore, and he was talking about the health. And there he was, this massive guy, really muscly and like really passionate about it, and talking about nutrition. That's when I started finding sort of plant-based and Berthling Ed and lots of smaller YouTubers YouTubers actually as well, just like Vegan Dude and loads of smaller YouTubers with small channels. Well, at the time, I think Joey only had about 1,000 subs. He was quite small as well, but like Aisha Ponders and Ellie the Earthling and all of it. And I've got all of these people doing it, and they all look healthy. And, like, and actually, there was for those vegans when I was growing up, and actually they're still alive, and they've been vegan for like 20, 30 years. So maybe like, so I started connecting the dots in my head. I mean, it sounds stupid because, like, obviously they're still alive and they're fine. I still believed, on the other hand, that that I couldn't be healthy, and then that was it. And then I think I sort of about 18 hours a day for 2 weeks, I was just watching videos, and then after that, vegan life activist. Sorry, that's long-winded.
No, it's not long-winded. It's not at all, no. But it's just interesting how you went from, killing animals to making that, the health connection and then the animal connection as well.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting as well when you were talking about it, how you felt sick to your stomach when you were killing them.
Yeah.
Do you have any like flashbacks or trauma from that, or do you think about it? Does it come up or?
Yeah, when I watch so slaughterhouse footage, it sounds horrible, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I can watch. I've already got those blocks right established. But watching animals going into slaughterhouses, or the sense of impending doom, that brings it all up. In fact, I can watch it. Even just watching a video will bring me to tears, and I feel it then. Slaughterhouse thing, I've just got a block. I blocked that out from a young age, but just watching a vigil or something like that, watching a cow and then they're crying and they know what's coming. That just really gets me. That every time that affects me. So I actually have to be a bit careful about watching that sort of stuff because I don't want to traumatize myself. I know it's not about. I know it's not about me and it's about the animals, but I don't want to be in such a state where I feel like, well, I'm not going to do anything and I just shy away from it.
And so how long have you been vegan again?
I just passed, I think, four and a bit years now.
And how long did it take you to get active?
Well, with my friends and family, the moment that I spent that 2 weeks watching videos, and I went, the next time I had a job, I went and I did an outreach style thing with a bunch of my colleagues, and one of them actually went vegan from that outreach thing. So my first ever outreach, got a conversion.
And that was with work, was it?
Yeah, this was at work. Yeah, they're still sort of vegan-ish, like they're not like 100% vegan, but just carry on because I find with some people like manage to get the message, they get it, and then they become an activist, and some people you sort of got through, but not 100%. So you just keep working on it and keep going. But yeah, there was a time actually where I could have become a vegan when I was like 21. I was doing a get into butchery course. We went to a slaughterhouse, and I saw all of these cows, and they were being fought. It was horrible, and it was they'd said it was a humane abattoir. And on the course there was an old school sort of butcher, and there was a farmer that felt like farming should be done differently and how it was in the days. I went there and they were just bringing lorry loads of cows, and then they had these like long kill runs, and you get two or three cows in a section. They've got these gates, and they will cattle prod them forwards because they're rearing back. They're trying not to go down the kill line. They're scared. You can see the fear in their eyes, and they're fighting. They're trying to get back. They're cattle prodded forward, so they're pushed forwards, and then they shut the gate behind them, and then they do this all along. They do it in sections. That's how this place. But they were coming in, and I was just there, like, and I could just see the fear, and I could see what was going on. And the farmer came along, and he said, "You can see this is wrong, can't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is wrong." And he goes, "It shouldn't be done like this." And if I'd had a vegan speaking to me, I would have been vegan on the spot at that point. But I didn't. I had a farmer speaking to me who felt like it was a welfarist, you know. So I got a welfarist message. But then that just meant that gave me an excuse to not do anything about it, because I could talk about welfarist, but I still wasn't actually doing anything about it. So, you know, I'd be like, it should be done like it used to be done. But yeah, that's why I really I really advocate for people being really outspoken vegans, because if I'd had an outspoken vegan around me at that point, I would have been vegan on the spot.
Yeah, we've talked about that before when we've done events together, and that direct approach you like much prefer, and I do as well. I think it works really well having that direct approach and calling people to action and making them accountable as well. So you've had your own company for a while, and tell the viewers, I know this story, but tell the viewers about your team. So you run a security company, right?
I do run a security company, yeah, and lots of my guys and the people I work with are vegan, which is really great. A lot of them have become vegan at the event because I've been outspoken. I see you on all of Rebecca's videos, and you're always lovely and positive.
She is.
Really
she's
great.
a sweetheart.
Yeah, so some people, because like being a response truck and it's absolutely hammering it down with rain, and there was this one time, and so everyone wants to be in a response truck because it's like really dead. There's nothing happening. Got crammed in, but I'm like got Land of Hope and Glory on the phone. It's Land of Hope and Glory, because in the security industry we're much more like the guys and stuff in each other's face. Like, you know, there's a lot of gallows humans. It's a lot more.
Yeah. But what do the non-vegans that you work with, what do they call cow's milk?
Oh, torture juice. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody calls it torture juice. In fact, I wasn't even the one that came up with it. It was a non-vegan that came up with it, and they just started calling it torture juice.
That's awesome. So hopefully you'll have the whole team before long. So fingers crossed on that. And when you
I might have to recruit Jerry like that. Your supervisor, are you, Jerry? Come and work with us. We're building a vegan army.
Building a vegan army. I'll be part of that army, Gawain. So you straight away went vegan and started outreaching to people at work. What was your next form of activism after that you got involved in?
I think I did a bit of AV, but actually I was working in Panama. I had a job in Panama that I was doing, and I got them to book the tickets like 2.5 weeks later after I finished my job. But I just thought, you know what, a bit rubbish what I was doing, so I just looked for the closest vegan activism I could find, and I found in Colombia there was these two guys. They were really amazing guys, Azul and Andres, and they were going around Colombia, and they were setting up vegan groups, and they were doing saves, and they were doing DXE actions, they were doing vigils. So I just flew to Colombia, and I went to Manizales, was the first one, and I met these guys. They were amazing, and we were doing DXE actions, which I'd never done before, and actually. You know, before I was like, oh, DXE is a bit, you know, I don't know about that, it's a bit extreme. Which obviously I don't think now. I've got a completely different view on it. But yeah, I did DXE actions. I'd never done them before. And I did my first vigil. And I met an individual on one of those vigils that will stick with me ever. It was really quite an experience. I decided I put the cameras down. I just went up, and I'm just going to go, and I'm going to be with these guys. Experience it not through the camera, because the cameras give you a bit of a buffer, and you're there, and you might be talking on the camera, and it gives you a bit of a buffer. But I just the cameras. I saw this one cow, and I looked at them, and they started gulping, like. They started gulping like someone fighting back tears, and they sort of looked at me from the side, and my eyes started welling up. I could see like a child or someone, you know, trying to be brave, and then their eyes started welling up, and that was it. And I was crying then, and then they were fighting back tears, and I could see them fighting back tears, and then a sort of a tear started to break down their cheek, and they were sort of looking away and then looking at me and looking away as if they're embarrassed to be crying and trying to be brave. And then just as the tear broke and started rolling down their cheek, the truck started to move and drove off. And I was that was really hard to witness, and I was with a lot of anger and a lot of upset that came from that, and I just felt so angry at everyone for forcing this individual into that. And I think about that individual a lot. They'll stay with me forever. And I made a promise to them that I would never stop fighting for them, and I made a promise to that individual that. And everything I do in my life, I try to gear up to be able to be more and more active, because eventually I want to be full time. But yeah, anyone that says that we put human emotions on animals is ridiculous, because we are animals. So the emotions we feel are animal emotions, and they are also animals, and they have body language which is really recognisable. If you just look and you sit with them, they have body language that we have, and you can tell. I could tell that they were trying to be brave. Some of those individuals were just really upset. Some were confused. Were trying to be brave, and you can see if you just look. You can see. I don't know how I got off onto that tangent from your question, but
no, you got off that tangent because I asked you about activism that you did afterwards, which you told me about that event before, and I feel the emotion when you're telling me that story, and I probably heard it like 3 or 4 times, but I think it's really important to share that with each other and offload. That's, the biggest part for me about being an activist, or not the biggest part, obviously that's the animals, but the next biggest part is having that community around me and being able to share my experiences when I've been to a vigil or when I've had a bad outreach, or, and being able to support each other. And I think that, my friendship circle has grown so much in the last few years, definitely.
yeah.
If I hadn't have arranged the Animal Rights March last year, I never, it probably would have taken me longer to meet you. And that was a very by chance meeting sort of thing when you were with your little boy at the end at the food festival afterwards.
Yeah, it was that place we went to afterwards, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was great.
It was good. Did you? I probably know the answer to this already, but did you have any blocks stopping you from becoming active? Anything like anxiety or family or work or?
No blocks. No,
that's what I thought would be the answer.
The only block I had was not completely and utterly getting the message first, which as soon as I got over this fact that actually I could be healthy as a vegan, and I saw people standing up for animals, I was like, that's the only right thing to do. Like I'd stand up against someone being racist, or someone being homophobic, or someone being sexist, against people being and eating animals.
Someone said earlier that you like a big friendly giant, and that's how I describe you as well. Like monster of a man, like huge man, but just like such a gentle, laid back soul, like just easy to be around. So what form of activism suits you best? What do you find out of all the ones that you've done, do you find that's most effective for you?
I love speaking to people. I love doing outreach, but I'm quite keen to do a lot more direct, definitely. And I'd love to see the movement growing into, so we're really sort of getting, and vegan advocacy really working together. So that's what I'd like to see. Yeah, I do like talking to people. I see it as a little bit of a game, because like you're talking to people and you're sort of trying to break through, and then you're leading them to a vegan conclusion, and then you're trying to get over their blocks, and it's like a bit of a game to get up and up and up and sort of build it until you get a vegan activist. Like when you're out, sometimes when you're outreaching, you meet people who are sort of nearly there, or they're vegetarian, so like you can get into veganism, And then you actually get quite a lot going, oh, I'm vegan. And you're like, oh, great, yeah, you're going to come and join us. And then, and then you've got like, instantly, it's like trying to get them to be active, because we need more of us out there speaking and doing stuff, doing actions and speaking to people.
Yeah, 100% agree. And what do you like most about street activism then, like talking to people? What is your favorite part of that? Just when you make that connection, or?
Yeah, I have to be careful when I'm doing street activism to remember that it's not a debate of egos. So I'm really like drawing myself back, and I really think what's the best channels, because I can really get passionate about debating. But no, my favourite part is, I guess, when I'd say young lads and breaking the bravado of young lads. Actually, when you get young lads that think that they need to eat meat to be a man, I just don't. I don't sort of subscribe to general sort of stereotypes anyway. But you get young lads, and they've sort of been taught they need to eat meat and they need to do this and they need to be this sort of person, and you sort of breaking through. And I'm quite outspoken, and I'm not sort of worried about being forward. And I'm a fairly big guy as well, so they sort of can't really sort of battle me and say, oh, it's a girls thing. Not that I subscribe. But so that's I love reaching those sorts of guys and then trying to make them think about, well, if you want to be this person you're trying to be, what people that are innocent and causing harm to these people, and how sort of manly do you think it is to be if we're causing harm? And I've definitely broken through a lot of stereotypes for people, and that's probably one of my favourite bits.
Yeah, I like the teenagers. When I get a group of like teenagers out with their mates, and you might get like one or two in the group, and then the rest of them kind of follow suit, but there'll always be like one or two that are kind of the gang, not the gang members, because they're not a gang, they're just a group of whatever 14-15-year-olds out on the shopping whatever in town. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite conversations. I don't know why, because I'm in my 40s, but I just seem to connect. Maybe it's because I'm little, maybe it's because I'm short. They tower over me as it is, and it's like I'm less threatening, maybe, I don't know. Vegan Joey's asked if you've got a YouTube channel. You haven't at the moment, have you?
No, I've thrown a few videos up over the last like 2 years. I think I've got about 4 videos on there, but I don't really do it. I've wanted to do it for years, but I've never got around. It's quite a lot of dedication. Like I've taken footage. I've got like 3 years worth of YouTube footage. I've probably got 100 videos worth, but you've got to actually sit down and edit it, and it's time consuming and. So no, I haven't intended to for years, but
I think that's why I'm liking doing these live streams, because there's no editing involved. It is hard work. Although I've started editing on my husband's computer now, so it's a lot easier because my laptop is extremely old, and I didn't think it was going to work tonight. So I thought I was going to have to postpone this stream because it wasn't working. But it's fine. It's working now, so I'm happy.
Well, I made it through the door 5 minutes before the live stream was meant to happen. So
that's all right. Do you know what? I know you. It's fine. I don't mind waiting. I'm sure no one else minds waiting. How do you fit your activism into your life? Because you run your own business. You're dad as well. So how do you fit it in?
I've actually started using a calendar recently, and things are getting easier since I started using a calendar. But I'm trying to, business-wise, I'm sort of hooking up with some really good guys to sort of take on different parts of business so that I'm actually doing less of the work and doing that. And I don't have my boy full-time anymore. I did have him full-time, but now I've got a couple of days a week for me, so there's more time there. So yeah, I'd like to I'm just trying to slowly work it so I can have a life that supports me and I can do full-time activism, but it's a bit of a journey to get there.
Yeah. I'm going to leave that question for the end, B. So if you can ask that later on, I will promise to ask you that. Your little boy's a little bit of an activist as well. You were telling me the other day, weren't you, when we were talking? What happened when you were out the other day?
Oh, yeah. So I was wearing a Sabs t-shirt, and he was asking me what it was saying, and I said, so he's 3. Well, he's coming up 4 in January, but he was asking what it was saying. I said, oh, it's a Sab, and he was asking what it was, and I said, well, they go out and they try and foxes and badgers and from being killed and they're fighting for the animals. He said, Daddy, I want to fight for the animals. So I said, well, you can talk to people and you can like raise awareness and stuff like that. And as you get older, you can do more stuff. Anyway, the next day we were out off to feed the ducks, and there was 2 guys walked past with fishing rods, and he said, Dad, they've got fishing rods. I was like, oh yeah. He goes, I'm going to go and speak to them, and he's shot off on his scooter ahead of me. And it put me to shame actually, because I felt a bit like, oh my God, I'm going to be embarrassed. Really bad, because I'm never like that. But he went straight in there. And he just said, you shouldn't take the fish away from the river. They don't like it. And I couldn't quite hear the conversation, but he came back and told me. He said, yeah, I told them they shouldn't take it. And they said they're not going to take the fish away from the river and stuff. And I said, they still can't catch it, because obviously like that. But yeah, it was just like straight in there the next day. That conversation.
Following his daddy's footsteps, sounds like it. I've only met him once at the Animal Rights March, and he's a lovely boy. I'd love to spend some more time with him again.
Well, luckily for me, his mum's also a vegan now as well. She's in the fire service, so she's always advocating to the fire service and cooking vegan meals for all of her crew in the fire service as well. So they're sort of, most of them are men, and they're sort of big burly men, like putting out fires and stuff. She's cooking them all vegan meals because they cook for each other.
Was that your influence as well?
Well, I think she was on the journey. Her brother was vegan and on it, but I definitely was pushing it quite a bit. I really wanted our son to be vegan as well. So yeah, he's been vegan since birth, and she was vegan shortly after he was born. Became vegan. So he's got like his uncle's vegan, his auntie, my sister, she's vegan, his mum's vegan. So that's good. And that also, because it can be quite difficult, right? Because there'll be people and they're eating eggs and they've got all their stuff. So I have to have, obviously I can't show him chicks being ground up alive, stuff that you might with other people. We'll watch a video of a chicken hatching out of an egg, and I'll say this is why we don't eat eggs, because chickens come from eggs, and you got to be careful. He's only 3 and traumatizing. So I'm quite thankful that there's a lot of vegan influences in his life, because there's so much. I mean, I was just driving here, and there's this just McDonald's have put this sign everywhere saying it's a double burger or something. There's like 4 burgers. It's just so disgusting, and just the advertising everywhere, and everyone's eating it, and they're trying to justify it because they might feel guilty, or even if they're if they've got vegan friends or something. So they'll automatically be trying to justify it to my son, who's just 4 years old, and then I have to sort of try and break through that justification, explain in a gentle way how they're wrong, because I don't want him to think really badly of those people. It's a fine line. It's a fine line, because they're lovely people and their influences in his life. They're not vegan, and it can be confusing. So because he's like, well, why isn't everyone vegan? Why are they not vegan? Why are they eating animals? And that's a tricky line to sort of navigate.
What do you say to him when he asks that question?
I say that they don't understand that they're eating animals, and they don't understand it's wrong. And then he says, why don't they understand? And I say, because they haven't made the connection. They haven't been told properly. He's like, I'm going to tell them. Like sometimes you tell people, but they still don't quite understand. So it takes quite a lot of telling. He like we've always really talked to him about everything. So he's really communicative and he's like really invested. You can have proper conversations with him about it. So I just try and be as upfront as I can.
The thing is, when you're a kid, it's kind of, you know, it seems more obvious when you're a child, especially when you've been brought up vegan and you've got vegan parents. I think as an adult, like I went vegan at 40, so it was indoctrinated into me that, you know, we needed to eat animals and cows needed to be milked, and it took, you know, seeing a dairy cow being taken from its, you know, from its, well, a calf being taken from its mother to make me make that connection. And I'm not a mother, but it just tore at my heartstrings. But, you know, it's like our friend Paul, he went vegan at 66. But sometimes, I don't know, it's just sowing those seeds. But now we just need to sow more seeds into vegans and get them to go active, right? That's what we need to do next.
Yeah. And hasn't been vegan like 16 or 20 years now or something, hasn't he? He did go 66, but he's still going strong and running a marathon, I think.
Yeah, 83, and I think he's doing a triathlon next year or something like that. Anyway,
yeah, he's run like 60 miles or something. So
yeah, 83. He's mental. He is mental. I love him though. He's not mental in a bad way, but yeah, I'm struggling. I've started running again, and I'm struggling to like get up like 3-4K at the moment. So God knows how he does it at his age. I'm gonna have to switch to a whole foods diet, I think. So what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you to be an animal rights activist?
What does it mean to me? In what sense?
Like how does it make you feel? What, you know, is it part of who you are now? You know, why do you feel it's important for you to be active?
It'll be one of the main priorities in my life until I die. It's a huge injustice which I participated in for so many years, and I've got a lot to make up for that. You know, I've got past the point of feeling about it, but I still like I compartmentalise that. But it's still I need to do for the rest of my life until we have a vegan world. I'd love to see a vegan world in my lifetime. I don't, but you know, I want to fight for it. It's just one of the biggest injustices in this world, and I mean, beyond the animals, like us doing this to the animals is destroying our habitat, our own habitat. It's destroying the world. It's destroying our health. It's creating pandemics. It's like it affects us as well. But you know, the focus is on the animals, those individuals. I remember seeing someone at Extinction Rebellion is going, "What's wrong with going extinct?" And at least if we go extinct, all the animals will be alright. That's a good point. I mean, I don't want to go extinct. I'd love to.
No, I
carry on. Explore the universe.
The longer I've been vegan, the more I'm like, do you know what? I just want the human race to just be gone and leave all the animals alone. Like, give them back the planet. Yeah, that's how I feel the longer I've been vegan, unless we can achieve that vegan world. What would you say to any vegans watching this that aren't yet active? What would you say to inspire them and encourage them to become active?
First of all, I think for a lot of people, there's this thing that carnists do, and they do it to shame us. They'll call us preachy vegans, and they'll call us extreme, and they'll call us radical, and those are all things to try and shut us up, so that we cannot point up the mirror and show the injustice. That is their way of trying to shut us up. We have to get over that. We have to own being a preachy vegan. So I remember when someone called me a preachy vegan, they're like, "Yeah, I am a preachy vegan, because this is what needs to happen." And it's when someone says you're radical, it's like, well, actually, we are radical. And if you look up the word radical in a dictionary, anyone that's worried about the word radical should look it up in the dictionary. It's a beautiful thing to be radical. And anyone that's worried about extreme, I mean, extreme vegan, that sounds like extremely beautiful to me, because being a vegan is a beautiful thing to do. So and we have to get over that for a start, and we have to not worry about that. And yeah, if you need to dip your toes into doing something because you're not confident, that's cool. Because there's loads of things. From if you're artistic, you can do it through art. If you're outspoken, debating, you can get out on the streets. If you like making videos, you can make videos. You can share content. You can inspire people. You can talk to family and friends. You can do. There's hundreds of different things you can do. You know, I just say, just start, just get into it, because we need you and the animals need you. And if we're going to make this a movement, we've got to do it, and we've got to move, and we need everybody on board. There's the amount of I've done quite a few vegan meetups in new areas, and I just remember going to, it's actually me and my sister went to one, and we met loads of lovely people. Some of them will still regularly now, even though we moved out the area. But we went there, and our bubble was all the vegans around us, because they were like, we're just all outspoken and very. It's Azul. She's amazing. We were talking about you earlier, Azul. Azul is the lady that I met in Colombia. Really
is that the one you told me to get in contact with about an interview? Is that the one?
Yeah, you should.
I haven't contacted you. I will be sending you a message. I think we're friends on Facebook. I will be reaching out to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I forgot where I was now. I got distracted by Azul's mic coming up. I was probably just rambling.
Sorry. Talking about why it's important and why we need more of us out there.
Yeah, we yeah, exactly. So it was just that thing. Is carnists are really trying to push us down with their words, but we just need to be out there and fighting, and we need more of us. We need to get active. Being vegan isn't good enough. Being vegan, like people say, being vegan, it's compassionate, and it's not compassionate to be vegan. It's like, it's just not being evil. And I'm not saying that people are evil that aren't vegan, but the act is evil. So it's like, it's stopping being violent. That isn't a compassionate thing. Compassionate goes on, and if you're fighting for the animals and you're fighting against the injustice, that is compassionate. I think vegan is sort of just we should all be vegan, because it's non-violence.
And it's such a non-action as well, isn't it? But if you know it's going on, then you should be speaking up for it. You know, like with the whole Black Lives Matter thing earlier this year, if you're not speaking out against things, then you're just compliant to them, as far as I'm concerned. But is that the right word?
If you're in a group and someone makes a racist remark and you don't pull them up on it, then you're compliant in that racism. And it's the same with vegan. If people are just able to eat animal products and no one's speaking up for the animals, then they're just going to carry on eating animals and eating their secretions, and it's going to carry on. Yeah, it's the least we can do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm Easy is fierce. I think he's brilliant. He's a great activist and he's very outspoken. Check out his channel, guys, if you haven't done. Just let you know, it's really good. Link in the description. Well, actually, there is a link in my description. I've got at the bottom it says Friends of Vegan Pixie Warrior, and a few of my fellow YouTubers who have supported me. I've only known them since September, end of August, September, and they've given me so much support and love. It's fantastic. It's just such a good community to be a part of. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've got my vegan activist friends and I've got my vegan YouTube friends, and we all like back each other up and hold each other up. And that's the whole point of this channel, is that I see so much online, on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram, bringing other activists down or putting them down. And I think that that's what puts people off becoming active, because I got a lot of abuse for doing the animal rights march. I got so much abuse for it from other vegans. I got more abuse from vegans than I did from blooming carnivals. But I think we just need to, be my friend. Yeah, I'm Easy Vegan. Sorry, that's a bit of an in joke we had the last few days. So I'm going to ask. I'm going to open the floor up to questions. Let me just see.
I think that's really important what you were saying. That's what I was going to lead on to. Exactly what you were saying is don't tear down other activists. I mean, obviously, if somebody's done something that's really outrageous, it needs to be called out a bit and critiqued. But don't just pull because you don't like them or you don't like what they're doing, or like until I did that DXE with Azul and Andres in Colombia, I was like, I don't know about DXE, but I never called people out for it. I even congratulated people for doing it and supported people in doing it, even though at the time I didn't feel like that was the right way to do it. But now I've flipped and I think it's great. But We support
Yeah.
each other. We really need to support each other.
Exactly. There's not, not all forms of activism fit me, but I'm not gonna, slag them off. I'm gonna carry on trying to promote them because there's something for everybody out there.
Yeah.
So we've got a question here. I think it's animal exploitation at the end of the day, and I don't think we should be doing. Is that a DT? Have I said that right? What do you think, Gawain?
I don't agree with horse riding or camels being used in the. It's not, as we say, abusing use. And I know you've been watching some of the animal rights stuff recently as well. But any use of an animal is an infringement of their rights. So yeah, I'm absolutely not. And I was speaking to someone the other day about horse riding, and they're a very dedicated vegan activist, and she was saying sometimes there's horses that need exercise and they don't, where they'll get fat, and I'm thinking, well, if that was the case, then the way to treat them would to be, if they wouldn't do it, would be to take them out maybe on a lead, right? If they wouldn't go around the paddocks and they were getting fat and they were ill and they were depressed and not exercising, we could, we don't have to ride them. That's not an excuse to ride them, because you like, if we need to exercise a dog, we'd take a dog out on a lead if it's not appropriate. So I don't think there's ever a reason for riding.
No, and with regards to in the desert, like, I don't live in the desert. I live in the UK, and I rode on a camel when I was in Egypt as a kid, and I was like 13, so way before I went vegan. And I think modern technology has grown so much now. We have surely we have the equipment to go cross the desert without camels now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just, here we go. Where was it? So we've got one from Sight and Inside. Gawain, you are a great voice for the voiceless. Have you had any difficulty with friends since going vegan, especially coming from a hunting background? I'm guessing he's talking about your ex-hunting friends.
One of my best friends, we've had to stop talking about veganism because it was causing such. We've been best friends since we were kids, and it was causing such distress between us. And I was when I was younger, because obviously, when I just got it, the first people I'm outreaching are my closest friends, right? So you're most rusty when you start, right? You haven't got the experience, and we had to agree not to talk about veganism. They're not eating animal products in front of me, but we're not having big debates about veganism, because it was either lose that friendship or stop talking about veganism. So I had to make a distinction there. And I've had some issues with family members. I'm really lucky that my sister's vegan, because it's one family that I'm really blessed. It's one in the family I can talk to about it. She's active as well and very outspoken. And yes, there's difficulties with family members, but I don't want to disown my family, and they're beautiful people as well. So some people I've had to say, I don't need to outreach with them all the time. You can just be friends, and I'm not having any animal. I'm not going to be around them when they're eating animal products. It's either lose my family and friends, or just concentrate on other people who are going to hear the message more from me.
Yeah. I've got a rule now, like I've been banned from my husband from talking about veganism with friends and family because I get so passionate about it. But now I have a rule. So I say, if they bring it up, if they ask me a question, why don't I eat honey, or what's wrong with this, or what do we do about, how do we feed all the people if we're not feeding them meat, I'm going to answer it. Yeah. So Dan said that's fine if they bring it up, but they don't bring it up. And I've got family that won't bring it up. A couple of family members in particular, where we just don't talk about it. And it's like, what have you been up to? And I can't tell you because I've been doing animal rights activism, and you don't want to hear that. So one was after the Animal Rights March, they were like, I saw you on the news. I'm like, oh, how did I come across? Oh, you look tired. I was like, yeah, thanks. I was tired. I was stressed. I didn't sleep all night. We've got a question here from, oh no, not from B. Where is it gone? I was on a question, and but that's a nice comment from I'm Easy.
Oh, thanks. I'm Easy.
Here we go. I knew it was from B. So, Gawain, how has your extended family reacted to your activism?
I haven't had any negative reactions from my family about my activism at all. In fact, the most sort of reactions is my unwillingness to be around animal products. But that's settled down now that understanding's happened. But yeah, for the activism, I've taken family members to I took family members to see the premiere of Dominion in London, and well, that's we've had a chance. It hasn't unfortunately worked. However, I haven't had any bad reactions from it. In fact, it's not really even spoken about, I don't think, with family. It's now I think it's just accepted that I'm a vegan activist, and just don't eat animal products around me.
Some of my family have been like, they're really supportive. Like my brother and his girlfriend watch every video that I do on YouTube, which is great. I got a card from my aunt, and I was really shocked. There was a little message in it that saying that she was proud of me for fighting for the animals and keep doing what I'm doing. Now, I don't know if I've got her to go vegan because we haven't spoken loads. But it's just nice that she follows me on Instagram. She likes all of my running posts and some of my other posts as well. So like my achievements on YouTube and stuff like that. So I've got some that are supportive and some that there's no way. I've got my friends, my non-vegan friends are way more supportive of my activism, I think, than
Rebecca's sister and brother. Time for you to go vegan.
Yeah.
When you watch this, we're rooting for you. Come on.
But that's the brother that when I went up to see them in Cheshire, he covered up all the animals in the fridge because he was worried it would upset me, which was
that's cool.
We've got a question from your sister. Potentially tricky question. What do you think about feeding cats fish and meat if it's just been thrown out by an omnivore and it will end up in the skip? Oh,
she's just trying to trip me up. I think she's funny. I don't because I'm quite adamant that cats and dogs eat vegan diets, and I've done quite a bit of research into it. It's slightly different, isn't it? I think I actually if it's there lying on the floor and you fed it to your cat, the only thing is if people see you feeding your companion animals flesh, then that's the only thing where it's like, you're condoning eating flesh, but that's the only thing. I can't see a moral issue with that. It's like eating roadkill, isn't it? There's no moral issue. It's respectful to the animal to eat roadkill, but there's no moral issue with it.
I was talking to I'm Easy Vegan and a few other YouTubers about a friend of mine that I had for he was 20 years ago, and he was a vegan. He's like a proper, what you'd think was a typical vegan, dreadlocks and patchouli oil and stuff like that. And he stopped being, he was like anti-Nestle, he was anti-corporate, he was just like far left. And he ended up seeing some roadkill and took it home and ate it. And now he works for a massive pharmaceutical company. He's like gone completely the other way. Like,
wow, that is an extreme difference.
But with regards to the cats, like my cats are on a plant-based diet. They're not vegan because they still go out and hunt, and they still bring.
You're right.
They still bring birds and mice and stuff. I found half of them mice on.
Animal vegan.
Maybe they're on plant-based
philosophy. If I think it's.
But I don't know how I feel about that actually, Joy. I don't know what I would do about that. I'm gonna leave your question for a moment, B, because I'm going to get this one first. So what do you find harder? People who actually want to stay willful ignorant to what happens to the animals, or people who know what happens but don't care enough to change? Thank you, Vegan Tea Belly.
I I'll answer your question in just a moment, because that just made me think of, you know, what I find most hard, and it's not on your list, is people that think they're spiritually enlightened. so that so that, you know, and we're all one, and you know, they're nourishing their souls with these products. They're thankful to the animal. Those are the people that I find really hard. I'm just giving my
that used to be me. I was like proper full on hippie. We like didn't shave and hugging trees and going to parties on Dartmoor and peace,
I think because of
love,
my
and
upbringing, I've been up around a lot of spiritual people that have got that.
yeah.
I just like, I don't even want to debate. I just feel angry. I just like, leave me alone. But what do you find? People who actually want to stay willfully ignorant to what animals, or people who know what happens, don't care enough to change. I think I'd find it harder for people that want to stay willfully ignorant. I think there's a bit of honesty within the people that don't care. That, like,
it's bliss, right?
they're both really hard and both really frustrating.
Yeah, I think
I'd say,
for me,
I'd say
the
last one is more honest.
Mm.
Yeah.
The second part for that question is me.
I find the sort of dishonesty or willful dishonesty definitely the hardest.
Yeah, I think for me, I find it harder when they know what's happening and they don't want to do anything about it. Like, I've had family members of mine actually watch Land of Hope and Glory, and their excuse at the end was, we're not going to change, because they were reading foreign newspapers. It's like, well, who do you think works in slaughterhouses?
It's mental, isn't it? I was just thinking that's a question earlier about the getting people active to be vegan. I was at a party and there was a lot of vegans there that weren't active vegans, and there was some, and they were asking questions, and they were talking about radical vegans and preachy vegans, and the vegans there were like, oh no, we're not like that, we're not like that. And I said, I'm a radical preachy vegan, and suddenly I had the whole attention of those guys for the next 20 minutes to half an hour, and they were asking me questions, and I was just telling them. But the guys that were sort of ashamed about it or trying to fit in, you know, they're not. I don't know. They're really missing an opportunity, and it's actually okay to speak up about what's right. It's okay to do that, and just don't worry about somebody shaming you, because somebody trying to shame you or not fitting in a certain group. Because if you don't fit into that group and they can't at least hear what you're saying about what is right, then really, do you really want to be in that group? Move on.
So we've got another one from B. Gawain, you're such a absolute lovely. How do you deal with, say, a lad's night out? He is. I can vouch for that. How do you deal with a lad's night out to go out for something to eat?
If I, like, with the people I hang around with, if they're eating animal products, they're just going to get no end of crap from me. I'm just going to, because it's probably high energy as well, so I'm just going to be absolutely slamming them. And I'll just eat whatever's vegan.
I think there might be a troll in the chat. Can one of the mods get rid of that inappropriate question that's come up, please? I'm not going to ask you that question. Let's just have a look and see if we've got any others.
B, you're an absolute lovely as well. I always see you in these live streams, and you're always really lovely and really positive.
She's filthy, mind. She's absolutely filthy. Yeah, just on your comment earlier, that's Dan.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I know. They just do my head in. I can't even talk.
Yeah. I'm just going to scroll down and see if there's any. Here we go. How do you explain to people the whole things with hunting? I've had people say to me, we took the habitat and predator, so we have control of the population. Please help. What advice would you give them? That I think
hang on, how do you explain to people the whole thing with hunting? I've had people say to me, we took the habitat and predator, so we. Well, actually, I'd say what gives us the right to control that population. Like, if we actually did need to control the population, which I don't believe we do, but I'll answer this in two parts. First of all, there's need drink programs, right? So we can actually neuter animals and bring down the breeding that way, if we needed to, right? But I don't think we do need to. I think it's an excuse. We're encroaching more and more on habitat, and actually the people that are overpopulated are humans. So what gives us the right to decide that those animals and those individuals are actually the ones that are overpopulated, because like they're not even 1% of what our population is, and we're the real devastation on the planet. And what needs to happen is we need to learn how, with our increasing numbers of humans, we need to learn how we can live in more harmony with the planet, and that is by one of the things. Because there's many things we need to do. The most basic and easy thing we can do right now is go vegan, because that will give us 75% of our land, our farmland, back to rewild. And then there's no over population. But the sort of people that are saying that are not going to, like, if they're in that world, they're not going to listen to them. That's their livelihoods. They don't actually want to hear.
This is the thing, like we've got rid of all the natural predators, and then we've introduced, deer back into Scotland, but there's no wolves there to keep the numbers down. So, there are other ways to try, and if you want to stop that population, there are other ways to do it.
I think that's all grumpy vegan granddad there. How's your eye, grumpy?
Yeah. How's your eye? Yeah. Grumpy, are you okay for me to tell him what happened to your eye? Do you know what happened to his eye?
It was in the live. It was. He did mention it in the live stream and did the unveiling from the glasses.
Oh right, you watched that one the other night as well. Yeah, he's got a bad temper.
Bad temper.
Rebecca, I'm watching chat. Relax. No, we're almost done. Actually, has anyone got any other questions at all? There's a 40-year-old vegan on. Hello, 40-year-old vegan.
I did this. I did this in Spain actually, and I was there, and there was a pigeon, and there was all of these. It was horrible, and I was a vegan, and I was the one that had to end their life. They were beyond rescuing, and I was in the middle of Spain, so I wouldn't have known where to take them to animal hospital anyway. But we were with a massive group, about 40 of us, and everyone's going, "Oh, that's horrible, but no one would help them. And that was absolutely horrible, but it was what needed to happen. It was like euthanasia, and there was no way they were coming back. I get what you're saying. I understand that feel. It gets your stomach, doesn't it? It feels in your stomach, and it's actual physical pain in your stomach, and it's like, and it wrenches through, and it can twist up in your stomach. And unfortunately, I'm too used to that. But,
we've got another question. So if you want to answer this first, and then I have an answer as well afterwards. So if I have a dog who's rescued from a If I have a dog who's rescued from a puppy mill, so now what should I feed him?
You can feed him Benevo. You can feed him Benevo, or there's a whole list of approved vegan or plant-based foods out there that you can feed them. And there's even wet foods as well, which are replica of meat for dogs. And actually, Benevo, you buy it online, it's actually cheaper than a lot of the big branded ones, and they're nutritiously fine. Like, so with cat food, right? If you're feeding cat biscuits, what people don't know is like, oh, they need meat. They're carnivore. They're carnivores. They need meat. They're obligate carnivores. They are obligate carnivores, so they need things like taurine. But when we roast biscuits, cat biscuits, you kill all the taurine, right? So the ones that have got flesh in them, all the taurine's killed off, and then we add the taurine in afterwards, right? But the plant-based ones, we put them through, and then we add the taurine in afterwards. It's exactly the same, right? But people, Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it earlier, Aditya. I was talking earlier because Gawain's sister asked a question, and I've got 3 cats, and they've been on a plant-based diet since August, and they're doing so well. We were commenting the other day on Ziggy's coat because it's just amazing, like the difference in them. And they're doing fine. And our oldest cat is 9, so I was really worried about putting him onto a vegan diet when he was 9 years old, but he's not, not a big problem. And is having a dog or cat against veganism? I don't think so. I struggled with this before we moved our cats onto a plant-based diet. I said to my husband, I don't think I'll be comfortable to get a cat again after these 3 pass, because we've had them since before we went vegan. Our youngest one is 4 and our oldest one is 9, and I've been vegan for 3 years. But then you have the other difficulty that there are so many dogs and cats in shelters that don't have a home. So I think as a vegan, we have a responsibility to adopt those cats and give them some love and give them such. And if we can feed them vegan food, then all the better. I mean, the oldest dog in the world was vegan. So I don't think having a companion animal is against veganism. But in a vegan world, whenever that happens, then companion animals will there'll be less and less because people won't be breeding them.
I think supporting a pet shop or a puppy mill is definitely not a vegan thing to do, in my opinion.
Exactly.
But this one's rescued from a puppy mill. So you feed them a plant-based diet, it's fine. And like you said, Bramble.
I don't know if you can get it in India, but I've got some. If you reach out to me, send me a message on Instagram. I've got some friends in India that are vegan, and they might be able to help you out with that. We've got another question from your friend Azul. So, what are your future plans regarding activism? What impacted more in the activism tour from South America?
Okay. My future plans is to come out and do a tour of South America with you guys. Definitely would like to do that.
Can I come, please?
That was one of my most formative moments was meeting you guys, and that's really I came back and I started doing anti-fur demos and got straight into activism, like literally from the day I came back. Got in on the plane. I was at activism events, but what was most impacted? You know what? I told a story earlier about the cow, and that was on the vigil when we were with that guy that was vegetarian and came on the vigil that we were on, and then he went vegan after that. Meeting that cow was one of the most impactful things in my life, but also the support. The connections and the support between all of the activists that we met, you, and how lovely everybody was to each other really showed me how supportive activism can be and how amazing it is. And you guys really pushed me when I went to do the diets and stuff like that. You really pushed me out of my comfort zone to do stuff. There's so many points of that couple of weeks I was with you guys that are impactful. There's loads of them. The whole thing has formed my activism journey and really propelled me on in my entire life journey.
So I definitely have to come and meet you.
I thought it was an incredible activist, absolutely incredible activist. Yeah.
Got a question from Grumpy.
Yes, I will be at the camp out, definitely, 100%. I think the camp out's great. I love it. And I think
I did too. You missed it last year, didn't you?
I did miss it because I ended up having to do I got a job in last minute that I had to do, and I bought loads of tickets and loads of us were going, but we went and did this. But this year I'll definitely be there.
Okay, so this is vegan tea belly. I love this vegan tea belly because I have always got a tea belly. My eldest son is the only vegan in school of 300 kids, and as an adult, it's hard enough having to explain yourself. I worry that his friends will pick on him because he's misunderstood. Or do you worry about this with your son? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I do. I don't really want to send my son to school. It really does worry me a lot. And I'm trying to give him all the tools to be able to combat criticism and combat things like that. But yeah, it's I think about it every day. It really does play on my mind a lot. But that mustn't stop us. And personally, I would say if they did start getting bullied, pull them out of school. That's what I would say. Put them in a different school. And that might not actually be possible. If it was possible, I'd say move them, because don't like being put through that, in like spending 5 or 6 years being bullied for something to be a really crap and horrible experience. It could go on for 10, 20 years. It could really. So I know exactly what you're saying. I think about it every day. Yeah.
And
sorry, I didn't have a more positive answer there.
No. I mean, I don't have kids, but I know the UK vegan family are worried about that as well, and they've got a great program. So I will put a link in the description. I'll edit the description when it goes up tomorrow, and I'll put a link where you can contact the UK vegan family about a project they've got about putting books in schools and putting better food options in schools for vegan children, because there's going to be huge amounts of kids coming up now that they're being vegan.
That sounds great. It'd be good to have some sort of some sort of system, even Facebook groups or something with vegan families, and going to kids and try and link up a network or something and start working together and find positive solutions to this issue, because it is something that worries me, and I don't have 100% answer apart from not in school, so that because when you're young, it's harder to fight and stand on your feet. So yeah.
I mean, bullying was horrible in school for me alone. Without being, I wasn't vegan, but I can't imagine what it would be like if I was vegan. So it looks like Bee's going to be giving you a massive hug at camp.
I look forward to it, Bee.
Crosses her path. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to actually meet Bee in the flesh. We already had this question earlier. I'm easy, so there is, but it hasn't been active in a while. Don't worry, I'm going to as much as Gawain motivates me with my activism and tries to get me to do more, I'm going to motivate him with his YouTube channel and get him to do more.
I think I've got 13 subscribers and 4 videos over the last 2 years.
That's not bad.
That's like 2 subscribers a year. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Better than none. So we got another one here. So I totally get you, but cat lives in nature. That's fine. It isn't going against with domestic cats is completely different. Okay, first of all, because they're feeding them what I give them. Well, like we mentioned earlier on, a lot of the cat food out there on the market has very little meat in it anyway. It's filled with rice and pulses and whatever. A lot of it's a very small percentage of meat. And like Gawain said, when you cook the biscuits, it takes all the taurine out of it. So they put more in. Okay. My cats go outside. I don't like the idea of leaving them locked indoors. And they do go and hunt, and they bring me back mice and birds, which I hate, but I'm not paying and putting money into the industry that is paying for these animals. I'm not putting their lives above the lives of the turkeys that I'm paying for them to be killed.
And what we must remember as well is domesticated cats aren't natural animals. They actually aren't.
No, they're not.
So it's like, and actually dogs aren't natural either. In fact, farm animals aren't natural. The farm animals, sorry, the animals that we farm aren't natural, and nor are vegetables. So nature doesn't necessarily mean morality.
No. And what my cats do when they're out, like, they're vicious. I've seen them, but when they're at home, they just they can't get enough of the Benevo. I'm not sponsored by Benevo. Maybe if you're watching.
Yeah, Benevo's great, because I had vegans coming around the house with companion animals, and some of them would still be feeding their companion animals non-vegan foods, and I wouldn't have any non-vegan food in the house. So I had Benevo cat food, Benevo dog food, tins, all sorts of stuff. People would try them, and actually some people went away and have started using them now because they love them.
They're great. Does anyone else have any questions? So don't forget to thumbs up the stream, by the way, if you haven't already, and share it out. Like I said at the beginning, I will be timestamping it. So if you're watching this, you can go back and find it. Does anyone else have any questions before we wrap up? I'll give it a couple of seconds because I know there's a bit of a delay. But while we're
I'd like
waiting,
to shout out my friend Malachi, who passed away a few weeks ago after a bike accident, who's an amazing, beautiful, compassionate person who he lived with me for a couple of years, and he went vegan after accidentally watching Land of Hope and Glory when I put him on an Earthling Ed speech, and was an activist straight away, and such a beautiful person. So I'd like to shout him out, and his girlfriend Emma, who's a long-term vegan as well. Just after we're waiting for any more questions.
So do you know what? I'll put a link to his channel. I hid that by mistake. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. All right.
I've got hundreds of videos. Never edited that, so.
And I've got. I don't know if you can hear that on the speaker. I've got a Lord Vader crying for me. I might have to. Would you want to go out? Oh, he's coming up to say hello. There'll be a big tail in a minute.
Yeah, come on. Hey.
So that's Lord Vader. So I'm sorry if he disturbs everything. So no, not yet, Grumpy. I don't want to share a tent with him anyway. I just want to interview him. And then we've got another request here. Do you know what? I'm planning a new series of live streams, which will be, I'm still going to do live streams twice a month, so every other Monday. But one of those Mondays in the month is going to be a workshop. So maybe you might come on for that.
I'd love to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I'd love to. I think, and I'd love to do live streams as well. They're absolutely brilliant. You've had some great guests.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Lord Vader's tail. Shall I lift him up so everyone can see my vegan cat? He's a bit chubby.
Oh, you're looking a bit protein deficient there.
Definitely not. But I want to say a massive thank you for coming on.
Thanks for getting me on.
Yeah, no, it's like, I love talking to you anyway, and I just want to say thank you for coming on and supporting my channel and all the support that the table's getting knocked. All the support you've given me over the last 18 months. That feels like we've been friends for longer, but yeah, it's only a short while. But yeah, thanks again, and thanks everyone for watching. Boom. as Grumpy would say, vegan Pixie warrior. Oh, Grumpy wants to invite you on for a stream as well. He's always stealing other people's.
Come on.
He just steals other people's ideas all the time. All the time. I'm surprised he hasn't asked to come on this stream. He usually says, come on, let me go on. If it's I'm Easy, he's always wanting to go on to I'm Easy's. But I think someone wants either feeding or letting out. He's having a belly rub at the moment and purring. I'm hoping the mic isn't picking it up. Can you hear him? He's quite loud.
Oh, I can't hear him, unfortunately.
I'll put the mic next to him.
Oh, yeah, I can hear him now. Yeah.
That was my vegan cat saying hello to the vegan world. But yeah, so thanks again, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thanks, Michael. Michael always turns up as well. We're still yet to meet, Mike. When are we going to meet at an event? Because I know you're locally based. Right, do you know what? I'd say go on I'm Easy Vegan rather than Grumpy Vegan Grandad. But can I just shout out to my YouTube friends? So check out Grumpy Vegan Grandad if you haven't already. Check out I'm Easy Vegan, UK Vegan Family, and Defender of Animals as well. I'm not wearing his hoodie tonight. I've got a Save hoodie on, but Defender of Animals does a clothing range that's vegan, and all the money goes to a sanctuary. So please support him. He's on Instagram and YouTube. Thanks, guys. Bye.
If you're not subscribed to Rebecca, give the video a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends.
Thanks for that. Bye.
Bye.